Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is answering the question, Blue, why did I fail my CCS exam? If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. Now, I received an email from a viewer who had unfortunately failed her CCS exam. Now, she has an idea of what she thinks may be the reason, but I wanted to share this email so in case you find yourself in the same situation, that hopefully this video will enlighten you as to the reason why you may have failed. So let's get into it. All right, so the email reads, I recently started watching your videos on YouTube to help me prepare to take either the CCS or the CCA exam. The CCS, if you don't know, is the Certified Coding Specialist. That is a credential offered with the American Health Information Management Association. This is the gold standard of medical coding credentials. And the CCA exam is a Certified Coding Associate. It is also offered with AHIMA, and it is the entry level, is considered entry level. But this is a very tough exam as well, and I will get into the exams in a little bit. I took my CCS exam for the first time in October of 2021 and failed it. I'm thinking of taking the CCA exam. I graduated college in May of 2021 with an associate's degree in health information technology and 2 certificates in health informatics and medical coding specialist. I honestly think the reason why I failed my CCS exam was because me and my class weren't able to go to the clinical sites due to the COVID pandemic. I also have a hard time being able to find the codes in the code books, even though I have all of the sections in all 3 books labeled to help me out. I emailed my program director and she told me that the best route to take would be to get my CCA and or the RHIT, Registered Health Information Technician, if you didn't know. How would you advise me to study for the CCA exam? To be completely honest with you, Blue, I really think not being able to go to the clinic sites had a lot to do with why I didn't pass my CCS exam. I would greatly appreciate your help and advice to get ready to take my CCA exam. So here's the thing. The reason that this person failed the CCS exam had nothing to do with the fact that they were not able to go to the clinical sites. It had nothing to do with the fact that there's a pandemic going on. It has nothing to do with any of that other than the fact that they're just plainly not prepared. And they're not prepared, and I can tell they're not prepared because they mentioned that they labeled the books, they had the books tabbed. Now, if you've watched any of my videos, any length of time, you guys know that I will always tell you guys, tabbing your books is a telltale sign that you don't know your way around the books. You should not need to tab your books. Now, that might be foreign to some people, and you might think, oh no, I really need them. If you have been practicing with your book, which is what these exams require you to do, is to practice before attempting them. These exams are difficult. They are not to be played with. They are not to be taken lightly. These exams are very rigorous. You have about 2 minutes per question. Now, there's several domains on these exams. The CCS has 4, the CCA has 6. So while there may be more domains on the CCA exam, it is 2 hours. And this 2 hours is going to test you on a variety of things. It is going to test you on a lot of different subjects, and everything is mixed up. It is not broken down by subject. It is all mixed in together, much like the CCS. The CCS is the advanced credential. This is considered the mastery. Now, if you look on the AHIMA website, the AHIMA website will tell you that while it is not required, it is recommended that you do have some experience before attempting the CCS exam. Now, if you've gone through a very good program, you stand a fighting chance of getting a very good chance of passing to begin with. But if you are going through one of these quick programs, or even going through a degree program. Now, here's the thing that may surprise some people. When you go through a degree program for the RHIT, Registered Health Information Technician, or the RHIA, which is a bachelor's degree, and that is a Registered Health Information Administrator. The thing with those programs is medical coding is almost an afterthought. There's not a whole lot of training that goes into the coding in those degree programs, because that's not what those degree programs are meant for. The degree programs are meant for our leaders. And if you look at the course description in any CAHIM approved RHIT or RHIA program, Health Information Management program, you will see that the concentration of those courses is mainly in leadership and in other things having to do with leadership. So those are the things that they concentrate on. So having a degree and going to college does not necessarily guarantee that you are going to know how to medical code. Now, this person is asking about what can they do to prepare. You have to practice, and it's not just practicing your diagnosis coding, it's not just practicing the ICD-10 PCS coding, it is also practicing your CPT coding, evaluation and management, HCPCS. You have to know all of that. And on top of that, you have to know about the revenue cycle. You have to understand all of those things. And all of this information and all these domains can be found on the AHIMA website. Now, I've gone over this many times, and I'm not going to bore you guys with going over the details of that again. You can go to the AHIMA website and check those domains out. But there's a variety of things that are covered on those exams, and no exams are exactly the same. There is a pool of a million questions. I say this all the time. No two exams are alike. So even when you go in and you take another test, it is going to be something completely different, because that is the way AHIMA structures their exams to protect the integrity of getting those credentials. They want to make sure that the people know what they're doing when they walk out of that exam room. And if you've passed, it's because you've shown that you have a proficiency in medical coding. So that's something that you need to really think about. If you are really kind of stuck on, oh, I don't really understand PCS, I really don't understand ICD-10 PCS, I don't understand the inpatient side of the house, then that's okay. AHIMA also offers the CCSP, the Certified Coding Specialist Physician Base. Now, that is the mastery of the outpatient setting, but it only covers the outpatient side. So there is no inpatient coding for that. There's no MSDRG. There's no talking about ICD-10 PCS. It is all outpatient coding. So if you are more comfortable with the CPT manual, then that may be an exam you want to consider instead. I currently hold the CCSP and the CCS. Now, I got the CCSP first. I got it in March of last year, and I got the CCS in November of last year. I've been a veteran medical coder for 13 years. It's going to be 14 years here pretty soon. And in that time, I have studied, I have worked on my speed. If you do not have speed, if you do not have a proficiency with these books, you will suffer on these exams. Because if you look at the domains, it'll tell you what the percentage is on coding knowledge and getting basically through the books when you're having to code. So now when you look at going through these books, you have about 2 minutes per question. If you don't know your books, if you haven't taken the time to physically open your books, each one of them, your CPT manual, your ICD-10 CMM manual, and your ICD-10 PCS manual, and flip and open each and every single page and look at all the pages. You don't have to read everything, but you do have to know where everything is. And I will keep saying this because people don't take this part seriously. They would rather go ahead and tab the heck out of their books. Well, if you're reading the candidate hand guide for AHIMA and their exams, it does specifically state that the tabs had to have come with the book. The only one that I have seen that comes with the book would be the CPT AMA Professional Edition that we all have to use. It does come with its own set of tabs. So you can use that on your book if you need to. But I'm telling you, if you are practicing with your book like you're supposed to, working with the workbooks that I've mentioned many, many times in my videos, then you're not going to need those tabs because you'll know exactly where to go. You'll know exactly how to maneuver through that book. Now, these books have the answers You just have to learn how to use them. And people think that adding these tabs, these little shortcut things that they're trying out and trying to write in all this stuff, you're not going to have time to read your notes, folks. You're not going to have time to do much of anything but get through that exam. So if you are looking to sit for the CCA, the CCSP, or the CCS, or even the CPC, I know this video doesn't cover the CPC, but if you are wanting to sit for any of the medical coding certification exams, I strongly recommend that you go through all of your books and look at them. Just take the time to look at them. Work through your workbooks, time yourself. And if you're sitting there telling me, Blue, I don't have time, it's your future. It is your future and what you want to do with it. Now, if you want to take this seriously, then you're going to get serious results. If you don't take it seriously and you want to look for shortcuts, that's what you're going to get. Because the slow way is the fast way. And I keep telling people this. This is a expression I heard from another YouTuber I watch. His name is Rick. He has a channel called Think Like a Horse. Has a very blunt nature, and that's what I really like about Rick. But he does say that the slow way is the fast way. When you take the time to learn things, you will become faster in the long run. What I see a lot of times is people trying to learn fast, and then in the real world or in the exam room, they're going slow because they don't know what the heck they're doing. So take the time and learn things the slow way. Open up the book, go through and look at the whole thing. Go through those coding exercises, time yourself. Do those things so that you can set yourself up for success. I have so many videos on my channel about study tips, and yet I still get the question, how do I study? You can simply go to my homepage for my YouTube channel and hit study tips, exam prep tips, anything, and they'll all come up. Take the time just to go through my videos, and trust me, you'll find a lot of really helpful information. I get comments all the time about how my videos are helpful. Take the time to do your research, folks. It's only going to help you even more. And there's times when I post things on the community tab about articles that I see that I think that would be helpful, and I get some engagement from that, and sometimes I don't. So you have to look for those resources. If you don't understand reimbursement and coding reimbursement and compliance and regulations and things like that, if you don't understand that, then you got to spend some time with CMS. Spend some time looking through the HIPAA documents, so that way you can learn those things. We as medical coders have to know those things. It's not something that we can get around. It's not something that you can negotiate and say, well, I don't really want to do that, or I don't really want to do this. It's not about what you want, folks, okay? It's literally about what the industry demands. It demands that you know medical terminology. It demands that you know your anatomy and physiology and pathophysiology. And the only way to do that is to start practicing. How do you learn it all? Like I mentioned in a previous video, you got to take it one step at a time. I didn't know everything either when I started. Trust me, I'm a heck of a lot further now than I was years ago when I first started. And I'll tell you that had I not had my aha moment in 2014, I probably wouldn't be as far as I am right now, had I not had that moment. But something you have to figure out for yourself, guys. When it comes to these and practicing for your certification exam, don't try to run and rush through, because if you don't understand what you're doing right now, you're not going to understand what you're doing in the real world. So if you want to get those books that I've been mentioning, I will leave the links for the books that I mentioned, the workbooks, in the description box below. But I also recommend that you find yourself a mentor to help explain the things to you that you don't understand if you don't have an instructor around to help you. You can also spend a few dollars and get a tutor. You know, I do tutoring. My rates are in the description box below. There's plenty of other tutors if you don't want me on LinkedIn. I've seen a ton of them on LinkedIn. So that's my advice anyway. But guys, don't blame the exterior circumstances of not being able to go to a clinic just because of the pandemic, because that has literally nothing to do with it. It has everything to do with your speed and your understanding of the material. And it has everything to do with, do you know your compliance and regulatory? Now, did I worry about that when I took my CCS exam? Yes, I worried about it because, you know, you're trying to study everything that you can, but if you don't do certain tasks, I've never done billing, so I worried about that. But I studied as hard as I could. And, you know, that's all you can do, is just do the best that you can at the end of the day. But like I said, if you spent money to go to a degree program, by all means, you should sit for that degree designation, because that's why you went to college. And this is why I tell people, don't get into these college degree programs unless you know what you're after. If you don't know anything about medical coding, if you have no idea about the health information field, you shouldn't get into the degree programs until you know. Start off with the certification. But a lot of times people will see or think that, oh, I have to have a degree in order to make a lot of money. You know, these certifications hold a lot of weight in this industry, and sometimes they hold more weight than the degrees, depending on what you're doing. So, and let me rephrase, let me say that again, because I know somebody's going to come after me. Oh, Blue! Hold on. Like I said, depends on what you're doing. The degrees and the certifications, employers will go after the certifications before they go after the degrees, because again, with the degree programs, it is going to be about the managerial side. If they're looking for a coder, they're going to be looking for somebody who has a CCS, a CCSP, a CCA, or a CPC. That's what they're looking for. Will they say, oh yeah, we'll take degree holders? Of course, because they think, well, you know, they've gone through a college program. But at the end of the day, if you test that person, and if they haven't been properly trained in medical coding, that's not where their strengths are going to lie, right? So I'm just saying. But yes, look through my videos, guys. I post a ton of videos all the time about study tips. And, you know, take the time to do your research and look through those. Look through your books. Work through the workbooks. Do your flashcards. Visit cms.gov. That's where you can find a lot of things that you need to learn about compliance and regulatory. Okay, it's all there. And that's just my advice anyway. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Hit that like button if this video helped you. Share it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.